I've been a dad for over a decade now, and one phenomenon I've noticed, and I think I'm far from the only person to have noticed this, is that having kids has made me softer, more emotional. I cry at Pixar movies. I cry at many movies. And, that's fine. Crying is great. I think crying can be very cathartic, but I think I wanted to explore a little bit where this comes from because I feel this phenomenon on a musical basis also. And psychologists and brain scientists, they look in the brain and they're like, they can spot some of this stuff that kind of causes a reaction emotionally. And of course, as worship musicians, we're also expecting, as we worship as a congregation, it has meaning, right? To stir up our faith and to offer praise to God. That's the most important reason to care about the music that we play. But I thought it would be interesting to think about, there's this kind of song, these sorts of ballads that are just they hit that sort of nerve in me that makes me weepy almost. And it's not always just worship songs. It's something that's just stirring on a musical level, and I don't really have a name for it. And so I wanted to just talk about my own experience of it and see if this is something that you might relate to. And then what I'm expecting to happen is that people in the comments who know more than me might actually fill in some of the gaps in this phenomenon and kind of explain some of it. Whether that's on an emotional level or a music theory level or what, I'm not even sure. There's just a mixture of these things. But as I was thinking about this music, me crying at the movie Inside Out or whatever, gosh, oh, incredible. I remembered back in the day when I was a kid, second grade, homeschool kid, my mom made me take piano lessons from her as part of my curriculum. I was not a good student. I did not enjoy playing exactly what was written in the sheet music, but there was this one song that, as I learned it, I really loved. And my mom was like, "Why do you love that song?" And I was like, "I don't know. It's just, I think it's beautiful. I think it's the best song that I know how to play." And I was trying to remember it. It goes, I think, something like this. So even as a 7-year-old kid, there was something about that relatively simple sort of melodic, ballady piano thing that just hit me somewhere, I guess. And so then, time moves on. I finally convinced my mom that I didn't need piano lessons anymore. I wanted to learn guitar. I thought guitar was way cooler. So in high school, I was a guitarist, youth band kid, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. As an adult, came back to piano because I was a worship leader who was bad at communicating with my keys players. And here I am today. Anyways, as I've gotten older, become a dad, hopefully matured, I feel, in some ways. Maybe I'm just more comfortable being emotional, and I thought it was really interesting for me as I thought about songs that felt emotional, that had that sort of resonance, to go back and think of that 7-year-old kid who already had that, and then maybe kind of lost it in the emo and the rock and the Les Pauls and the Marshall half stacks of my youth. But here I am today. And so, gosh, there's songs like this. So I'm just going to these are a few that are the top of my hit list. And I can kind of notice some common traits, but not all. So the first one, these are random, by the way, super random. Toy Story 2, the song that is sung when Jessie is abandoned by her owner. When somebody loved me, everything was beautiful. Every hour we spend together lives within my heart. When she loved me, she loved me. Then it gets a little wonky, out of key, and I'm not going to follow it perfectly. And then years go by, we stay the same. She began to drift away. I was left alone. Then, love this. Still I waited for the day. We're going from C major to C minor, so that hinges on a G minor. Still I waited for the day. This is going to get high, so I'll drop the octave. When she'd say, I will always love you. When somebody loved me. Anyways, bet you didn't expect me to serenade you in this way, but golly, there's just something. I mean, it's the saddest song of all time, so there's definitely like a lyrical piece, but the way that the instrumentation and the chord voicings and that melody line just all come together. I mean, when she'd say, I will always love you. Tension, resolution, but not to something like happy, just resolution to the sadness of it all. Okay, so it's not just the lyrics. There's something in that music that hits me. I'm not quite sure what. Okay, next up, this song is actually what spurred on the idea for this video in the first place. Been doing my kids' bedtime, and we have this little music playlist. And there's this song by an artist called Ben Rector. And by the way, Ben Rector's discography is full of tunes that kind of hit me in this way. But there's one in particular called Extraordinary Magic. Now, Christian folks, please, this is not the opportunity to have an argument about magic in the comments. The point of the song is there's extraordinary magic in you. This is a dad or a parent singing to their child about the potential, the spirit, the God-givenness of them that you see in them, and that's something intrinsic and holy and beautiful and extraordinary. That kind of extraordinary magic. Please don't argue about Harry Potter in the comments. Anyways, you won't believe it, strange as it sounds, extraordinary magic follows you around, and the camera can't catch it, you won't see it in the mirror. If I say look behind you, you turn around, it disappears. I see it, I see it, I swear I do, I see extraordinary magic in you. So, oh man, singing this song to my children, singing it over them so it sinks into their hearts has been really meaningful to me. The lyrics, again, I mean, you gotta have incredible lyrics, but the way the music backs this up. And I noticed like one commonality here. You get that 5 sus 5 resolve right there. And we've got that in Toy Story also in Jesse's song. So that's something. That feels like something. I like it. Next one. This one's really random. This one is from the classic musical Phantom of the Opera. It's called Think of Me. When we said goodbye, once in a while, promise me you'll try. There it is again. The title of this video is turning into just David likes sus chords, which is fine. And honestly, if you're watching the video, at this point you're probably like, David, like there's no groundbreaking revelation here. You just like music that is kind of emotional. You like ballads, you like, but that's kind of like the point of why I'm making the videos. There's this sort of like Broadway-esque almost thing of like tunes that just hit those moments. There's this like drama to them. They're like very serious, and then the music kind of plays that out. You know, there's like temporary modulations or steps out of key, that sort of thing. And one thing I'm like is like, where is that in worship music? Is that something that's coming, something that is not present at all? I'm not super familiar with tunes that are doing that sort of thing. I mean, I think the only thing I can get my head around is like there's probably some more of that happening with gospel music, especially traditionally, stepping out of key, changing keys. But I'm not sure if that's happening in this sort of way even in gospel music, where it's more of that sort of dramatic, like not to lift or brighten, and maybe not just chromatically or like in semi or whole tones, but actually like, from C to C minor and then back, those sorts of things. So one of my hopes actually in shooting this video is there like, worship music out there that's doing this kind of thing? And if so, I'd love to go check it out. So please leave a comment if you're aware of that sort of thing happening. Okay, are you ready for the deepest, most obscure cut of cuts? At least I think this is pretty obscure. Written by someone famous, but definitely not like a part of the modern lexicon, I don't think. There's this one song from A Christmas Carol, the musical, which was originally an Alan Menken score. You might know Alan Menken from Disney stuff, lots of Broadway stuff. Anyways, this was a stage play, and then it was released for TV. I think it was on ABC in like the early 2000s. I watched it back then with my parents. It's good. It's great. You can buy it for a few bucks. You should go watch it. I watched it back then and then didn't watch it until 2023. But I had this one song that just like kind of started like circling in my head over a few years, this melody, and I couldn't quite place it. And then eventually I was like, I asked my wife, what is this from? And then she placed it. She said, it's from that Christmas Carol musical, the Alan Menken score. And it's the song called A Place Called Home. And so it's just gorgeous. I'm going to play it now. There's a place called home, I can almost see. And a roaring fire and a Christmas tree. There's a place called home. And then, so it's 1/3, 4, 6, flat 7, 5 sus, kinda, resolve. There's that sus again. Anyways, yeah, golly, it's just so beautiful. And it was stuck in my head somehow for like 19 years. 19 years? Holy smokes. Yeah, and then just kind of like resurfaced. That strong of a melody. I couldn't remember the lyrics, couldn't remember anything about it other than the melody. And then there I was. And I went back and watched it, and it's great. But yeah, I'm again noticing this, and again, maybe the title of this video is just David Likes Broadway Music. That's fine. I do. But where's that in worship music? I'm not sure. And then the song lifts, and there's some really beautiful chord stuff that happens underneath that melody that just like takes it in some really interesting directions. There's beautiful string orchestration around an Easter egg about this, the 2004, the ABC version. It's you'll notice a very young but still quite eccentric Jacob Collier. If you're a Jacob Collier fan, he plays Tiny Tim and sings and does great, but it's just like very tiny, so it's pretty enjoyable. So go check that out. One more, bringing it back to worship music almost, because I got to talk about Coldplay. Can't do a song about ballads that are stirring and that hit some sort of nerve without talking about Coldplay. I'm realizing in real time as I do this video that every song on my list has this. So maybe I need songs that have this, folks. And then I also love that minor 3. So I think Brandon Lake almost dances near this kind of stuff melodically sometimes. which is something I really enjoy about his music. I feel like he's willing to sort of push in a bit more of the dramatic, sometimes with the chord choices that he uses. That's also just like a Coldplay thing, like Gratitude has like the Coldplay clocks thing in it. But yeah, what are some other examples of this, but also just this sort of dramatic stirring kind of thing? And I'm expecting to get some great gospel recommendations, or at least hoping for that. But also, is anybody doing this in the CCM space or in the indie kind of worship space? Maybe your band is doing this. I don't know. Anyways, I'm curious if you guys have recommendations, songs that like as I talk about this feeling, you're like, oh, I have that, but for this song. Leave a comment and let me know, because I'm just trying to put a shape around it. Maybe the shape is just like good emotional music with sad lyrics. I don't know. Anyways, I hope this video is interesting for you to get a little bit of a peek inside my brain. I just wanted to scratch the itch and hopefully like find more of this that has like a worship side thing going on. So leave a comment and let me know what you'd recommend, and then also like what these songs are for you, whether it's worship music or not. If you're watching this video and you're not subscribed, it'd mean a lot if you took a second and hit the subscribe button. Most of the people that watch the channel are not subscribed. When you subscribe, that's the #1 thing you can do to support us so that we can keep putting out videos like this one and reach more worship keys players and worship leaders. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.